Thank you, Mixed Chair. It's been a long day. Our nerves are a little frayed, everybody's, I think. But I feel like I need to say around this amendment that this is a government that came into office with an equity problem. And to their credit, they did some work to try to address that. But we are in a province that has an equity problem. And many members of the legislature in the opposition, both parties, have put forward a number of constructive proposals to help address that in a structural way. The member for Halifax Citadel Sable Island has put forward a number of proposals and resolutions around having structural recognition of equity built into the way we do things here, and this is a similar ask. And so the idea of having a role dedicated to diversity, equity, and inclusion in the Public Prosecution Service, which I'll just repeat, this point has been made, but first of all, the Public Prosecution Service deals, because of structural inequalities and racism in our province and in our society, with a disproportionate number of, I guess, Black African Nova Scotians and Indigenous Nova Scotians and Mi'kmaq and you know, other folks who are racialized individuals, and so the Public Prosecution Service ought to be doubly equipped with tools to ensure that when those people are in their purview, that they're dealt with fairly. And I think it's accurate to say that we don't quite know how to do that yet. Because if we knew how to do it, we would do it. We don't. And I think the numbers show us that. The statistics around people who come into contact with the law are disproportionate to the makeup of our community. And that tells us that there is systemic racism present in our systems. And so I think this is a really simple and straightforward and clear way of addressing that. And the second point, I guess, which has been made, but I will make again, is our independent Public Prosecution Service was born of the Marshall Inquiry. Which dealt directly with that very systemic racism. And so, as with, surprisingly, maybe to the government, not so much to us, a number of the amendments that we put forward, this is a helpful amendment. This is in no way meant to derail or change or otherwise scuttle any plans that the government has for updating this legislation. It's recognizing an issue which I would suggest has been particularly challenging for this government, which this government would be applauded for taking on in a continuing way, which this government must take on in a continuing way, like it or not. This is a good and constructive way to do it, appointing a Deputy Director of Diversity, Equity and Inclusion, reporting to the Director of Public Prosecutions. It's come forward from DPAD, a very well-respected group. I think all members of this House would agree. And again, if the government doesn't want to do this, I would love to hear from the Minister why not. Thank you.